As a geologist, I've always enjoyed drinking wine, but I'm a believer that the earth imparts some kind of influence on everything, not just wine, but on how we live, where we are. There's something about feedback from the earth that most people aren't fully recognized or aren't aware of, but it is there. And when the word terroir came out, which is a word that puzzles lots of people, and some people don't like it, I absolutely loved it, because it was an excuse to find a vehicle that really connected a product with the earth. And so I started going to wine stores and looking at bottles, and most bottles would sort of say something about the earth. It came from loamy soil or various things. But Napa Valley started getting more and more interested in promoting the notion of terroir more, and then with the AVAs. And so what I want to do today is show you how the earth is important, not only for the AVAs, but for every vineyard. And when I learned about Groth, so I started studying, and I realized Groth is specific and almost unique within Oakville. So there's Oakville overall, but there's also Groth. And I'll try to explain that. So from 120 to 3 million years, the bedrock of Napa was formed. Tectonic forces of the San Andreas Fault creates Napa Valley and the adjoining mountain regions in the last, beginning about 3 million years ago, fairly young. The Vaca Mountains were uplifted beyond their capacity to hold themselves up. They collapsed. The only way they could collapse was frontally into the Napa Valley itself. And erosion forms large alluvial fans on the east side of the valley. So the Groth fan was coming out. Continental glaciation lowers sea level and allows for massive removal of debris that had been piling up here. The Hennessy fan is largely removed. Only a few of the older channel deposits remain, i.e. the Groth sweet spot. The Mayacamas Mountains begin to rise, and as they rise, a whole series of eastward projecting fans from the west start to develop. So that's the Rutherford and the Oakville and all those fans that we see along the west side, along Highway 29. While the modern high stand of sea level, the topography of the valley is smoothed. So once sea level rises back up, the stream can no longer erode through, and so instead of eroding through, we start depositing and adding debris and smoothing out the topography, creating the surfaces that we have now. And then finally, it's the discovery of the sweet spot. Thanks. So again, as we look at this, this is looking at the east side of the Oakville area, and they're just huge differences between Roth, Gargiuli, which is right here, Rudd. Rudd is alluvial fan here, but is part of a bedrock surface there. St. Eden, we're part of the Bond series, is again a bedrock deposit. Tench, which is right here, an interesting vineyard, is all debris coming off of the Bacchus area. Dalla Valle is actually on red bedrock. So there's enormous variations, huge variations, just in the east side of the Oakville. And then the differences continue across. So within the Oakville AVA, beautiful spot climatically, rainfall, temperature, degree days, perfect, but then the bedrock is the one thing that creates the variability. That's the end of my formal presentation. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.